Eagles fans are known to be some of the most ruthless, unruly in the league and are riding high after coming off their big Super Bowl win over Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Now, their recent title has been very hard on Cowboys legend Emmitt Smith, who's tired of their success.
I'm sick of it. And I'm sick of it for two reasons. One, we have allowed others to come and nitpick at the star and make fun of the star. And that's what happens when you give other people or other organizations. Now all of a sudden, over the last 20 years, they win 2 Super Bowls. They think they're the best thing on the doggone planet.
Yeah.
And everywhere I go Birds. I'm sick of hearing go Birds. I'm always asking, where you going? You still got a long way to go to catch up.
Yeah, he also said that he believes Dallas should be contending for NFC titles.
Yeah, not close. There is not a single thing currently today that the Cowboys do better than the Eagles. And I mean anything. Ownership, GM, quarterback play, O&D line. There is not a single thing you can point to. Look at the running back room for Philly and the running back room worst in the league for the Cowboys. They don't draft as well as Philly. They don't acquire as good as Philly. Philadelphia is better than the Dallas Cowboys.
In every single capacity.
Every single unit. There is not a unit on that roster that Philly's not better. Receiver, O-line, tight end, corner now that the Eagles nailed 2 corners.
Gina Mitchell, yeah.
Safety, pass rush, D-line, Jalen Carter. Coaching. No, I mean, I would have said McCarthy over Nick Sirianni as a head coach. But when you go Brian Schottenheimer to Sirianni, okay, now I got a guy with a ring and a guy that's more of a position coach. Dallas is worse than the Eagles in every single thing they do.
Yeah. Oh man, this is so funny. I want to attack this from a couple different things. First off, you say like, oh, Eagles fans are some of the most, unruly fans, whatever. They're also some of the most beloved fans. Again, ask any player how much they love the fans of Philadelphia. That is the most real obvious statement. Just go ask current ex-players, retired players from like 20 plus years. I mean, it's just always funny how people always want to highlight, Eagles fans in this negative light when like the Eagles, Eagles fans like the Philadelphia Eagles. Fans, it's hard to put into words, but they're the foundation of why the NFL is so popular, so intense, so crazy because of those types of fans. The Jacksonville Jaguars wishes they had something like that, right? That's why consistently the Philadelphia Eagles are in the top of the NFL of most ratings, most views, highest evaluation. So, make no mistake about it. Those Philadelphia Eagles fans make the NFL a ton of money, and we all know that's what it's all about. But, I also know that Cowboys fans are going to push back and be like, oh, the Eagles aren't the best, don't do everything better than us. Dak Prescott's better than Jalen Hurts and this or that. And it's just like, your roster was just so stacked or something. And it's like, guys, you told me for years that the Dallas Cowboys were stacked. That's why you kept winning 12 games. So like, and then like what happened in the playoffs? Why did Dak, if Dak Prescott's a better quarterback, why did he not play better in the playoffs? And then you're going to say, you can't say roster because you told me how amazing your roster is. That's why you won those games. You can't say coaching because you had Kellen Moore, the same coach, the same coordinator that the Philadelphia Eagles had. And you can't tell me, well, Sirianni, because I know you believe that Mike McCarthy is a better coach than Sirianni, even, Colin Cowherd does. It can't be defense because Dan Quinn is an awesome defensive coach. So you can't look at that. You had great coordinators. You had a great head coach. You apparently had a stacked roster and apparently a top 5 quarterback, top 3. I mean, hey, he was number 1, multiple times in terms of signing his contract. So again, which is it? Why are the Dallas Cowboys failing then? Is it the quarterback? Is it the roster? Is it the coaching staff? You guys can't decide. You can't ever decide. That's what makes it so hilarious to me, because if you say you can't say it's quarterback, because then you have to concede that Dak is maybe not as good as Jalen. You can't say roster because, again, you told me to your blue in the face how amazing your roster is. So, like, that doesn't make sense. It can't be coaching because, again, especially at least offensively, Kellen Moore went to the Eagles. Like, it's just hilarious. You know, it's just absurd. And now this whole idea, what Emmitt Smith is saying, oh, you still got a long way to catch up to us. That is the dumbest thing ever. That is just the dumbest thing ever. It really, really, really is. Because, like I've already said multiple times in multiple videos, but bears repeating again, the Philadelphia Eagles have been a dominant, highly, highly run franchise for the last 25 years. Okay, they have the second most playoff wins in the last 25 years, second to only the New England Patriots with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, okay, which is a very specific team. A very specific team. So you remove that team, which is obviously exceptional. They've been the best in the NFL. It's not just about, how many Super Bowls do you have over your existence of a franchise. That's just the dumbest way to look at things. I mean, it just is. The Cowboys haven't been to an NFC championship game in 30 years. So I get why you just want to use a bottom line number of like, well, how many rings do you have? Who's been a better franchise for the last 10, 15 years? The Pittsburgh Steelers or the Kansas City Chiefs? Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers have more rings, so you got a long way to catch up to us. I get it's like what are we doing here? Seriously, like what are we doing here? So it's just silly. It really is. It's just silly. You got to admit that the Philadelphia Eagles have the same number of Super Bowl wins than Dak Prescott has playoff wins since Dak Prescott has been drafted. That's real talk. So if you want to talk about winning a Super Bowl in like 1991 or, whatever the heck it was, like, be my guest. Go talk about what it was like before. In my day, we didn't have the internet. We had to go to the library and read an encyclopedia. Okay, cool, old man. Best of luck with that. Oh, we used to, when we would make phones, when we would have to put our finger and we'd have to go like this, and you'd have to go all the way around. Like, okay. Make sure this guy doesn't, leave the room again, please. Found him wandering down the streets. It's just like, it's just absurd. It's comical, honestly. It really is. It really is. This whole idea of like, using some sort of bottom line. I mean, that's what Dallas Cowboys fans always go to. And it's a sad argument because you think it explains that you've done nothing. You've done nothing for 30 years. That Nick Foles has more Super Bowl rings than Dak Prescott. Huh? That Kenny Pickett has more snaps in a Super Bowl than Dak Prescott. And again, you can't say, well, they didn't do a good enough job with the roster because that team won, 12 games, 3 years in a row, whatever, that everyone told me was like the most amazing accomplishment ever. Well, coaching failed us. Really? Because Dan Quinn didn't seem to fail the Washington Commanders. Pretty sure Dan Quinn led his team to a Super Bowl where he lost to the GOAT Tom Brady and the Patriots. That's just a tough spot to be in. Probably would have beat any other team he had to face. Kellen Moore seemed to have a lot of success with the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, but they had, Saquon Barkley and blah. And so, again, I thought Dak Prescott balled. I thought this offense was amazing. I thought Dak Prescott was an MVP candidate. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. So whatever explanation you want to use just doesn't seem to work. So again, definitely hang on your hat that you're like, that you have, a few more Lombardi trophies that you won over the course of like 100 years, where it's like, okay, congrats. Like, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Like, huh? I mean, the Raiders have 3 Super Bowls. Over the last 25 years, who would you say is a better team? The Raiders or the Eagles? I think we know that answer. I'm pretty confident in that answer. The Miami Dolphins have 2. Are we going to say that the Eagles and the Miami Dolphins have been equal? I don't think so. Who's been a better team? The Kansas City Chiefs or the Dallas Cowboys? You tell me. What team would you rather have? The Kansas City Chiefs or the Dallas Cowboys? I think we know that answer. Who would you rather be? The Kansas City Chiefs or the Pittsburgh Steelers? We know that answer. So, it's just, you can use that argument all you want, but it doesn't make sense. Not to mention, my school of thought these days is, I really don't care what you've done before Google was invented. I just don't. I just don't. It means nothing. If that's your fallback defense of what you did in 1987, it's like, dude, that just means, like, honestly, truly nothing to me. It really does. It especially if you're looking at as a franchise as a whole, because like if you're getting all your rings from just like one coach, one quarterback, like one team, one run, like one real unit, like that's where the bulk of that came from, right? Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, etc. Like that means like, yeah, you put together an awesome squad, and the respect to you for sure. It is infinitely more impressive to me that the Philadelphia Eagles have been able to build essentially 3 completely different Super Bowl rosters. 4 over the last, if we go back truly over the last 25 years. Going to a Super Bowl with Donovan McNabb and Andy Reid. Going to a Super Bowl with Nick Foles and Doug Peterson. Going to a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts. Like it's just like, that's actually impressive. Winning a Super Bowl and then 5 years later going back to another Super Bowl with a completely different quarterback, a completely different coaching staff, and a completely different roster except for like 4 players. That is absolutely remarkable. That is absolutely remarkable. Striking, getting lightning in a bottle and striking gold and oil by drafting Patrick Mahomes and having Andy Reid, that's awesome too. And again, Kansas City Chiefs deserve a ton of credit. Let me see what the Kansas City Chiefs do without Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Let's see. I can't wait to see it. Because I know what they did before didn't look so good. I know what the Eagles looked like before they just won a Super Bowl. Looked pretty darn good, didn't it? I think so. So you tell me, who's the better franchise? Who's been the most versatile? Who's been the most resilient? Who's been able to win beyond just when they really get to, strike gold, struck gold with a true special core? Like Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. What have they done post Brady Belichick? Not so good. Not so good. There's levels to this. There's differences here. Not all Super Bowl wins are equal, quite frankly. They're just not. Not to mention the Philadelphia Eagles beat, the dynasty of the Kansas City Chiefs. They beat the dynasty of the New England Patriots and Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. Again, the team that was the best team for the last 25 years. Pretty sure winning that Super Bowl is pretty insane. Pretty impressive. But sure. You don't know how good I was back in 1992. 1992, you couldn't stop me. I used to be a ladies' man. All the women used to love me. I used to have big biceps and an 8-pack. You better slow down, young man. It'll catch up to you. Your metabolism's gonna slow down. Okay. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Philadelphia Eagles fans making the Cowboys Super Bowl drought feel worse? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.